Welcome to Trinidad and Tobago to our News 4 report, a product of the Government Information Services Limited and the Ministry of Communications. I'm Nicola Barreto. Let's take a look at the headlines. Citizens give their opinion on the upcoming budget. Residents of Farm Road, St. Joseph will receive their lots under land for the Landless program by November. And Jerry Gordon wins gold for Trinidad and Tobago at the IAAF World Championships in Russia. Thank you for joining us to our top story. The date has been set and so are the numbers. Budget day this year, according to Finance Minister Larry Hawaii, will see an increase in the level of expenditure as it looks to clear debts and introduce new fiscal measures. However, a number of citizens are eagerly awaiting the fiscal presentation this year to see changes that will bring a positive turnaround in their personal expenditure. News 4 took to the streets to find out what many of you are wishing to see in this year's budget.
With September 9 fast approaching and Finance Minister Larry Hawaii assuring that preparations have been made for the upcoming fiscal presentation, Budget 2014 holds much expectations for the people of Trinidad and Tobago. A government budget is a document plan of public revenue and expenditure that is often passed by the legislature, approved by the chief executive or president, and presented by the finance minister to the nation. The budget is also known as the annual financial statement of the country. This document estimates the anticipated government revenues and government expenditures for the ensuing current financial year. According to the finance minister, the national budget is defined as one that seeks to encapsulate the needs of the people in a financial document.
A budget is not a technical document only, it's a political document also, and it's a social document. So one has to recognize all the forces that come into play when one is preparing a budget and all the demands from all the different segments of the society.
However, to many citizens, the national budget means insight into how their spending or savings will be for the next year. We took to the streets to find out what is the national budget.
A way in which people who are in charge of the purse can use the money so that all the people in the nation can experience that the money that was produced or earned in this country will benefit all the people. And by all the people, obviously, I mean the people who are still on the margins and the greater. It seems as if more and more people are being put to the margin, more and more people are being left outside. And that is a painful thing. So that what we want to know is that a government has a sense that they can use the money so that all the citizens can benefit with health, with proper education, particularly, and a general care for the housing situation, etc., but particularly healthcare and education, serious concerns.
A national budget would probably include everything, countrywide, of course, in all areas, and especially like healthcare, food stuff, energy sector. Control, general over everything, and hopefully it turns out to be pretty good.
Definition of a national budget, well, is as what it says, it's supposed to be national. It's supposed to focus on every part of the country, infrastructure, education, health, everything like that. That's the meaning of a national budget to me.
Most of the time, the definition of the budget is that, everybody is looking for a betterment. Now, and a lot of people feels that national budget means increase in prices, especially in fuel and foodstuffs and so on. But what I would like for the national budget is to regulate things so that everybody can have a good living and have a equal share of the pie.
For many, their budget concerns revolves around seeing a reduction in their food bill.
One of the main concerns for me is the cost of food prices in the supermarkets. As a housewife, it is very tough. Because when you sit down and you budget yourself for the month to spend like $2,500, and you end up in the supermarket and you don't pick up all your stuff you're accustomed picking up every month, only to realize when the cash should on cash, it gone might be $400 or $500 more. And that is something that I really would like them to have consideration with. It is tough on the housewife especially.
Yeah, drop in food prices. They could do something with the regulations so that we can have cheaper prices, because most companies, or what they're doing, they just setting up prices and causing a problem with food. You know, everybody, that is the mainstay with food.
A reduction in the cost of living. That is most importantly, that is needed in the country right now. In food stuff and everything, they say with the removal of VAT, but you're not seeing it reflecting here.
For others, seeing fuel prices remain low and national projects continued were just some of the items some citizens say they would like to see in the upcoming budget.
Also, we would like to see more projects out. We want to see more employment for the underprivileged, and we would like to see more, more people with the middle class or whatnot. They have a better standard of living, and we want the upper class, the people with the money, to invest. So if the government can, what they can do, if they can put some sort of incentives for them, so that can, rather than leaving the money in the bank, invest the money so that all of us can benefit.
For sure, well, definitely no fuel increases. In super and diesel, it's already high premium, and definitely we would like to see that cost remain as is.
During the minister's 2012-2013 budget presentation, he announced a temporary removal of value-added tax, VAT, from all food items except luxury items and alcoholic beverages, while only premium gas saw a raise in its price as a marginal number utilized this grade of fuel in their vehicles. The 2013 budget also saw an increase in disability assistance grants and an increase in minimum survivors benefits through amendments to the National Insurance Act. Kimberly Calawan, News 4.
Housing Minister Dr. Rudal Munilal says residents of Bangladesh at Farm Road St. Joseph will receive their lots under Land for the Landless program by November. The minister, along with officials from the Land Settlement Agency, the LSA, met residents to discuss their issues during a meeting held at the St. Joseph Secondary School.
Housing Minister Dr. Rudal Munilal is assuring residents of the Bangladesh area located in St. Joseph that they will be given preferential treatment under the Land for the Landless program. Speaking to the residents of the area during a meeting at the St. Joseph Secondary School, the minister discussed land regularization and relocation issues.
When you are dealing with this few number, is not a lot. You can say, listen, we can give preferential treatment. We picked 500 names, I think, a few months ago for the Land for the Landless. If it is just about 25 or 50 as the case may be, we can give you preferential consideration. You understand? We do that with housing too. People house burn down, earthquake or something like that, sometimes they get house. So the Land for the Landless program can help the 25 or 40 of you who prefer that.
Hazza Hussain, financial controller at the Land Settlement Agency, LSA, assured the residents that allocations were being made for those who are unable to apply for certificates of comfort or meet the requirements.
As we speak now, our law is being amended to deal with persons who did not apply or who came after, to probably give those persons a chance to be regularized. But regularization entails much more than that. It also entails what we call infrastructure works. Now, infrastructure works, it's roads, drains, etc., putting in all these things in place. But it's not just simply coming in and laying down oil sand or paved roads. We have to get all the required statutory approvals in place. And we have to work with the Town and Country Department, the WASA, TNTEC, the Drainage Division, to get all the approvals before we can regularize any particular area. So it's a process that we have to go through to get this done.
Chairman of the Piako Tunapuna Regional Corporation, Khadija Amin, says her administration is working to improve the situation for the residents.
We continue to work on many of those issues, and many of those are issues that affect your day-to-day living, improving the scavenging service, the removal of the garbage, continuing to clear all those water courses that could lead to flooding, continuing to have the area sprayed for mosquitoes, and other services that the corporation would provide. And you would have brought it to our attention that things like rat baiting and so on, that was not taking place in the community. we continue to work to improve your lives in that regard.
The next cycle of land distribution is carded for November this year. Minister Munilal assured the residents they will be included into this draw.
We are here because we care. And those people who put up your hand for their lot of land, we will want to get the database from you so that we could start processing you one time. And when we are giving out the first round of land, when? By November? By November or so, we could put in the 25 or 40 from here. We could put in that from here. We are giving out 500 lots of land. We could put in 40, 25 from here. And we can take the information.
Dr. Munilal says his ministry remains committed to the resolution of land issues through the distribution of certificates of comfort and housing amenities. Kimberly Calawan, News 4.
Minister of the People and Social Development, Dr. the Honorable Glenn Ramadasing, resumed his walkabout by taking his direct impact initiative in the Montrose-Chaguanas area. The minister, suffering with a foot injury, made it clear that regular meetings with the people to interact with them and to get their views on matters were first and foremost.
Even with an injured foot, the Minister of the People is delivering.
We have to.
Drainage has become a major problem in the Chaguanas-Montrose area. The minister says his team is working assiduously to alleviate the problems residents are being plagued with. Among that are many other issues.
We have already started doing estimates and submitted them to the agencies, and we are following up these on a daily basis. People want to see action in a faster, more demonstrative way, and this is what we are ensuring and aiming to do.
He adds that all estimates are completed and are ready for the start and commencement of works, which will begin very soon.
What timeline are you looking at for release of funds?
I'm really looking at a 3 weeks to 6 weeks deadline. I expect some projects to start within the next 2 weeks and others to start within the next 4 to 6 weeks.
The minister revealed other initiatives forthcoming for the Edinburgh 500 area. These projects, he says, will soon come into effect and will help boost the area. Also, a meeting, he says, was held with the Housing Minister, Dr. Rudal Munilal, and he assured that all issues with regard to housing will be addressed in a speedily manner.
We'll be liaising with the HDC very directly with a new approach, and we were able to work together to get a commitment from TNTech that they would begin the street lighting of the area sometime this week. So on Thursday we do a final tour to select the spots where the street lights will be put up, and we also did get the bus service extended this morning, and there are some other requests such as health in terms of mosquitoes and rats that we will attend to.
Minister Glenn Ramadasing says he is hopeful that more success will come along the way. During this walkabout, the minister and his team listened to a litany of concerns from residents and assured them that help will soon be on its way. Joseph Lopez, News 4.
Over 20 artists and cultural acts will represent Trinidad and Tobago at the 11th edition of the Caribbean Festival of Arts, more commonly known as CariFesta. Minister of Arts and Multiculturalism, Dr. the Honorable Lincoln Douglas, has met with the contingent as they prepare to leave for the event.
CariFesta 11 is planned to take place from August 16th to 25th this year. The 2013 edition will be hosted by Suriname in its capital of Paramaribo. The theme of this year's festival is Culture in Development. The government of Trinidad and Tobago has taken the decision to financially support a contingent as it believes the principles which underline CariFesta meshes with the government's commitment to culture and regional development.
It is in unity that we continue to stand strong together as island states. It is in harmony that would give us the productive power to negotiate our collective future in the global economic and diplomatic world. This important role, this idea of unifying and harmonizing what we do together that is played by CariFesta is the underlying motivation for the decision by the Cabinet of Trinidad and Tobago to spend more than $3 million to facilitate the participation of Trinidad and Tobago contingent that truly represents the multifaceted nature of our creative and cultural sectors.
The Minister of Arts and Multiculturalism says the government is prepared to invest in youth and culture as it aims to create a sustainable and financially viable creative sector in Trinidad and Tobago.
We've placed significant emphasis on youth, empowerment, innovation, entrepreneurship. All of these things would be central to what we're doing, and that's so because we're looking at how we can launch this creative sector and make it a significant part, how we could continue to develop the creative industry as a significant part of our sustainable future.
Minister Douglas explains his ministry has several out-of-the-box projects planned as part of their commitment to cultural development.
This country's participation in CARIFESTA is part of the overall thrust of the government of Trinidad and Tobago to engage in development projects for the cultural and creative sectors through the Ministry of the Arts and Multiculturalism. We have various projects that are coming up. I think right now we're doing the building of the beats here, which is a kind of, what they call those? Reality TV series about how you produce music. Coming up later on this year, we have a grand musical expo, and this would be for cultural practitioners and artists in the music industry primarily to gain insight from local and international professionals in the field.
According to a press release issued by the ministry, members of the contingent represent the visual, literary, and performing arts, including theatre, dance, music, film, new media, fashion, and culinary arts. Gregory McBurney, News 4.
When we come back, Jehu Gordon wins gold. Stay with us. Trinidad and Tobago's Jehu Gordon is now the world 400-meter hurdles champion after he won gold in the event at the IAAF World Championships. Gordon posted a world-leading time and a new national record of 47.69 seconds.
Today, Trinidad and Tobago took center stage at the IAAF World Championships taking place at the Luzhniki Stadium in Moscow, Russia. Former Trinidad and Tobago sprinter Arthur Bolden was highlighted by the IAAF at the Ambassadors' Press Conference as part of celebrations marking 30 years of the IAAF World Championships. Bolden was previously this country's lone world champion with his victory in the 200-meter at the World Championships in 1997. But his words came to pass when speaking to the media. He said Trinidad and Tobago may have two world champions at the end of today. Trinidad and Tobago's Jehu Gordon, the 2010 World Junior Champion, sealed his place as a senior champion when he beat an experienced field of athletes to claim this country's first World Championships gold medal since Bolden. Gordon lined up in the blocks alongside the reigning Olympic gold and silver medalists Felix Sanchez and Michael Tinsley and two-time world silver medalist Javier Coulson. Running in lane 6, Gordon was lagging behind American Michael Tinsley in lane 3, who looked good for the title until the final two hurdles. Gordon found the energy and gained on Tinsley, getting to the finish line literally ahead of him, Gordon's head crossing the line in 47.69 seconds, just 1/100th of a second ahead of Tinsley, who clocked in 47.70 seconds. Gordon's time of 47.69 seconds is the best by any athlete for the 2013 athletic season. Congratulations go out to Jehu Gordon's Trinidad and Tobago's first gold medalist at the World Championships in the men's 400 meters hurdles. Gregory McBurney, News 4 Sports.
In other sporting news, Mahela Jayawardena is set to join the TNT Red Steel in their ongoing Caribbean Premier League campaign. Mahela will replace South Africa's Davy Jacobs, who was ruled out due to injury. Jayawardena is expected to fly out to the Caribbean on Thursday afternoon ahead of Trinidad and Tobago's game against the St. Lucia Zouks in Kingston on Saturday. Jayawardene has stated, quote, it's going to be a long trip to get over there, but I am looking forward to meeting up with the guys as soon as possible and hopefully helping us secure a berth in the CPL semi-finals this coming weekend. I've always loved playing cricket in the Caribbean, so I'm really looking forward to a short stint with Trinidad and Tobago Red Steel. More news after this. In recent times, earthquakes have been reported more frequently throughout the Caribbean, some with minor damage, others causing a great stock calling for major repairs. It was only on Tuesday that northwestern Trinidad experienced a 4.1 magnitude shake, generating curious thoughts of if this was a signal to a more massive earthquake. Over in Tobago, though, this 4.1 shock was not felt. It raised questions on earthquake preparedness on the island.
It was on April 22, 1997, when Tobago experienced a massive 6.9 magnitude earthquake which destroyed a number of infrastructures, most notably the Scarborough Bus Terminal and the Scarborough Library. 16 years later, and signs of destruction can still be seen. The question is now, if an earthquake of a similar nature is to hit the island of Tobago, are we prepared? Director of the Tobago Emergency Management Agency, Alan Stewart, responded.
Tobago need to understand that we live in a seismic environment, and therefore these fault lines are constantly moving. You find that within that space in the mid-ridge, there's a heightened amount of activity, and it's suggesting that the time of probabilities of something happening as an indicator is close. What the seismic community is saying that when you look at what is happening, as recent as 6 weeks ago, there was an average of a 6 magnitude earthquake taking place in the north mid-Atlantic ridge, and therefore that gives a strong indication based on that probability that it can occur again, and at levels that suggest that there could be structural damages, things occurring to the extent of 5 to 6 and above. It is possible, and that is the highest probability that we are working with. So we're looking at what they suggested in between now and 2016.
He advised that Tobagonians must be sufficiently prepared for the eventuality.
Exercises play a very important part of our levels of preparation, in that you want to make sure that drills are conducted within schools, institutions, the workplace, that people can better respond when something eventually happens.
A Calder Hall, Tobago resident shared her experience on the 1997 disaster.
I was a teenager at that time. I could remember the house shaking, feeling really scared at the time, but not remembering exactly what to do, being taught of what to do when an earthquake happened, being so scared, you didn't even remember, or you're frantic. But for now, yes, my home is prepared. I think everybody knows what to do in case of an earthquake. We know where the closest shelters are in our neighborhood. And I think we would be prepared just in case another earthquake is to happen.
But she hopes it doesn't happen again, since recovery could be a tedious task. Another Tobagonian said that earthquakes are very unpredictable, and he doesn't believe that neither he nor Tobago is prepared for another 1997 occurrence.
You can't go underground, you could get mashed up. You can't go upstairs, you could get mashed up. So then what we have to do, we have to just, hope and pray. Like if a heavy one come, we just hope and pray for the best.
The Tobago Emergency Management Agency sent this reminder to Trinbagonians.
Look for a very sturdy table, drop to the floor, cover your head with your hands, and hold on to something sturdy while the shaking is taking place. Most times people choose to or attempt to move out of the building at the same time while it is happening. The acceleration of an earthquake is not something that is very easy for you to run against. So that is where people get injured, things may fall, and will leave you helpless. So we advise that you drop, cover, hold.
Reporting from Tobago, Patricia Nicholson, News 4.
And that's how we wrap up this edition of our News 4 Report, a product of the Government Information Services Limited and the Ministry of Communications. I'm Nicola Barreto. Thank you for joining us.